Social Animal was $99. It's now completely free. If you'd like to get your hands on a copy of it, simply visit callmekir.com/social. But for now, please enjoy this video. When massive brands from diverse businesses like Apple, Amazon, Meta, Netflix, Uber, Nike, if they all settle on a single business model, to me, that's a really strong signal to pay attention, because success leaves clues. The more diverse a background a bunch of businesses come from and they all settle on the same solution, the more you want to pay attention. And today we're going to be talking about one such model, which is recurring revenue or subscription-based model. And in my experience, if you're a coach and you're not leveraging this model in your training business, online or in person, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So today, I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of recurring revenue in coaching. If you're not using a model like this yet, in my opinion, you should be. So keep watching. And even if you are, keep watching, because I think you can avoid a lot of the subscription mistakes that I've made in my career that I think have cost me a lot of time and money. So the too long didn't read version is this. I've been working online for myself since about 2009. And in that time, I grossed about $1 million of recurring subscription revenue through a combination of online coaching for rugby athletes, that being Rugby Strength Coach, and online education for strength coaches, namely Strength Coach Network. The come to Jesus moment for me that really convinced me about subscription-based models and to start Strength Coach Network was in 2015. It was a presentation by a guy named James Schramko. I went to his super fast business event in 2015. I paid $1,000 to attend. So I had told myself going in, I need to be leaving this place with at least $1,000 of value to justify that expense, and ended up being close to $1 million. Now, James's presentation was all about why the membership or recurring revenue model is king. And I'm going to hit a few of the points that he talked about in his presentation right now. The first is lifetime values. That is the dollar value of the total amount of business you're able to do throughout the entirety of your business relationship with a customer. And in subscription-based models, LTVs are much higher. The drip of money added up over months or years is much higher than you're ever going to be able to charge with one-time products, even if they are big ticket items. The second is that when you sell subscription-based products, you switch people into a default of buying, which they have to overcome their behavioral inertia to cancel. Until they opt out, you continue to service them, they continue to pay you month after month, year after year. So in essence, you sell once and they buy a lot of times. With regular one-off products, the default is that they're not buying from you and you have to convince them every time you want them to buy from you. So you sell once, they buy once. And if you want them to buy again, you have to go to the effort of selling them again and then overcoming their behavioral inertia again to buy. And it's a subtle difference between those two models, but human psychology is an absolute motherfucker, and that can make a big financial difference over that time span of months and years that we're hoping to do business with people. The third is that if you can add a social component or group interaction component to your subscription-based offering, when the group reaches a certain size, your customers end up becoming a major pulling factor for your prospects. The more people you attract, the more discussions and interactions you can stimulate, the more value gets created, the more attractive product you create, which again attracts more people, and so on and so on and so on. So it's this network effect that adds value exponentially as the number of people you attract into your subscription model increases. The fourth is scale. It's really hard to get to big numbers with a bespoke business model where you treat every customer like a special snowflake. And even then, you have to charge very high prices and be awesome at training and managing your staff to get it done. Otherwise, the business is just going to cap out when you reach your personal maximum work capacity, which is relatively low. But by coupling a relatively cheaper subscription-based model rather than a bespoke model, and then you combine that with the power of the internet and technology, that's going to allow you to service much greater numbers of people at the same time, and obviously in turn produce a much higher amount of total value, which you as the business owner get a cut of. That's all you can ever do in business, is receive a cut of the value that you create for your customer base. The fifth is predictable cash flow. Once you start to get a hang of your numbers, barring any major changes to the business, you can start to make some reasonable predictions about how long each customer is going to hang around for, how much they're going to pay to the business throughout the total duration of that business relationship. And that in turn means more predictable cash flow for you in the business with less susceptibility to the feast and famine that you're typically going to see with one-off products. Now, up until today, when I've written about it on my blog or other places, when I've done previous videos, when I've appeared on other people's podcasts, I've only really talked about the successes or endpoints of my experiences with regard to subscription businesses. And yeah, that's great. At our peak, Strength Coach Network was able to support me and my family, a team of staff, produce a lot of predictable cash flow to the point where obviously it was attractive enough for me to sell. But honestly, this business model at times nearly killed me spiritually, financially, physically. And I don't think people talk about the downsides often enough, and they really should, because there are a lot of things that I wish I knew about subscriptions before I started. And I want to share a few of them here with you now so that hopefully you can avoid these when you start your own recurring revenue business model. The first is that a subscription business might look cute when it's a baby, but it can really grow up to become a monster. You win at subscription business when you add more customers each month than cancel. So positive churn effectively is what we're talking about. There are two ways to do this. One is to have less people cancel each month. And the second is to have more people joining each month. The caveat here is that cancellations are measured as a percentage of your total customer base, whereas customer additions or new customers joining is an absolute number. So when you only have 100 members or 100 customers in your recurring revenue model, a 5% monthly cancellation rate means you only need to add 5 customers per month to maintain your numbers. Let's say, and I hope you are, that you're growing with paid ads and your customer acquisition cost, how much you need to spend to acquire a customer, is $200. That means that to replace those 5 customers you've lost, you need to spend $1,000, 200 times the 5 that you lost. But what happens when you now have 1,000 members? You maintain that 5% churn rate, which is about average in my experience. You're now losing 50 members a month. And because we add in absolutes, that $1,000, it still only gets you 5 customers. So in this example, if we maintain $1,000 a month in ad spend at 1,000 members, we're now having a net loss of 45 members for that month and all the revenue that comes with that. So to maintain those 1,000 customers, your ad spend is now $10,000 a month. That is not for the faint-hearted. So you have to expect, if you're paying via ads to grow, that ad spend is going to go up and up and up and up each month. The second thing you need to be aware of, LTV, lifetime value, matters, but the payback period of that LTV also matters. So if we go back to that hypothetical example of us spending $10,000 a month in ads, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Let's say we have a good grasp of our numbers, and we can say with a high degree of confidence that every customer that comes into our business, they're going to spend $1,000 over 20 months. So $50 a month times 20 months. Should we be spending $200 acquisition cost in ads to make $1,000 over the lifetime of our business relationship with each customer? Absolutely, it's a no-brainer. We're going to make 5 times our money. But the painful thing about subscription-based models and growing via paid ads is that all of your acquisition costs, every penny of that $200 is paid on the front end, but you make back that LTV in dribs and drabs, month by month, year after year. So using the numbers that we've already talked about, in month 1, we've spent $200, the customer's paid $50, we're $150 in the hole. In month 2, we've spent $200, they've paid us $100, we're $100 in the hole. So we're not actually making money on this hypothetical customer until they've been around for 5 months. Now, imagine if you multiply this out across your entire 10K of ad spend per month after month after month. 10K in month 1, 10K in month 2, 10K in month 3, and so on. Using this example, in month 1, we're $7,500 in the hole. We've spent 10K in ads, we've added 50 customers, and they've generated $2,500 in revenue. In month 2, we have to spend another 10K, so now we're 15K in the hole. We've spent 20, we've added 100 customers, but they've only generated $5,000 that month. And in reality, it's actually worse than this because we have members canceling each month. So keep at this, and you won't even break even until month 8. So unless you have 80K hanging around and nerves of steel, aggressive paid growth like this is a great way to go broke in a hurry, even though on paper you have a highly profitable business. So whenever you see a subscription-based business scaling at warp speed like this is the bet that they're making, that the numbers are going to go their way before they start to run out of money. So you have 2 choices in this instant. One is to have deep pockets and nerves of steel, and the other is to be content with growing at a slower pace by spending less money on paid growth. The third is that a subscription-based business, it really is a never-ending task. The absolute best subscription products are those where your customers use or consume the product month after month, year after year, without you needing to make any changes to it whatsoever. And that is going to be stuff like software, prescription medication, even services like renting a house, because that's really all rental real estate is. Now, go figure. Software, pharma, real estate, they are all huge business sectors. And that's because there's no real daily work that needs to be done on the product itself besides tweaking it to improve it. That means you just get to focus on selling the shit out of it. And as a consequence, it's much more scalable and easy to run than other business models. Do not be fooled into thinking that online coaching is anything like this. One is because, as you know as a coach, no program works forever. And second, even if it did, customers would just get bored and complain, and they want to be entertained and fed new mental candy month after month. As such, there's this constant need to keep working on the product or service to keep your customers engaged and paying. New programming, new methods, new challenges, and so on. It's like laying the track as you're riding a rapidly moving freight train. Unless you're constantly adding new track, eventually the train's going to crash, the business is going to dry up. Like I used to tell my athletes, don't just tell me about the pain of labor, give me the baby. So what do we do about these 3 issues at play within a subscription-based training model? The first is product first. A better product is likely to lead to more referrals and organic signups in the first place, but it's also going to convince the customers you do have to hang around for longer once they're on the inside. And having a longer customer lifetime means that your ceiling is going to be much higher when you reach that point of equilibrium where the number of customers that you lose and add levels out and you maintain your customer base each month. It also means that your lifetime spend per customer is going to go up, so you can afford to spend more money acquiring customers in the first place. And the more you can outspend your competition when it comes to paid ads, the more likely it is that you're going to win the game, sign that customer, and grow your customer base. How do you build a better product? Well, give them more of what it is they're paying you for. Give it to them faster, easier, give it to them more consistently. And if you can't pin down exactly what it is your customers want, ask better questions or be a better listener. Every single person who ever canceled from Strength Coach Network, and there were a lot, they were offered the chance to give us feedback. And we said, the more candid, the better. We can take it, be brutally honest with us. And we tried to use every bit of that feedback to improve our offering into the future so that people would hang around longer, pay more, and we could be more aggressive in terms of our buying of ads and growing the customer base. The second is to think about how quickly your customers spend, just as much about how much they spend. It was a first world problem, but I definitely reached the point of spending thousands and thousands a month in ads, but taking 6 to 8 months to break even with Strength Coach Network. And we got around this issue in short with annual memberships. Although the average monthly price is lower with an annual membership because you're typically giving away, 2 to 4 months on an annual membership, the advantage of an annual membership is you get all of the money up front, which means that you're immediately in profit for each customer, which means that you can take a portion of that money, go out and buy more ads, attract more customers, and so on, feeding that flywheel. When should you incentivize people to spend more on the front end? Answer: all the time. From the second they arrive on your site, after they opt into your lead magnet, when they've already bought from you, when you want them to upgrade, when you want them to cancel, all the time. Always be offering more of your offering for a slightly lower price. The deal is they get a better offer, and what you get in return is that faster payback period so that you can go out and redeploy any money generated from your customers. I think you just need to be careful about how you implement these. I personally use a combination of one-click upsells and time-limited coupons to do this, along with progressively less favorable discounts for new customers as time goes on, because one, I want to reward those who buy the earliest from me. And 2, I want to reward my most loyal customers. So I don't want to offer better deals for people that are more of a tire kicker and take more time to buy from me. And I also don't want to offer my best deals to people that haven't been with me as long. I always want to play the long game and favor the relationship with my existing customers more than new customers. And that way I can keep everybody sweet. The third is that systems are king. The constant need to produce new programming ideas and also new ways to market your product or service, they're just harsh realities of a subscription-based training business. They're not going to go away. But what we can do is we can stack the deck in our favor by being systematic in how we go about these tasks. So for example, 1, have a system for producing new products and/or service ideas. Have a system for producing new marketing content. Have a system for internal operations and tasks. Have a system for teaching all of these tasks to somebody else. And eventually try to limit yourself to just being the face of the operation and then outsource that too if you can. In reality, all I did for the final year of Strength Coach Network's existence was to 1, pay the wages, and 2, do some of the content. And even before I sold the company, I was no longer the face of our podcast, which was the main content vehicle, and my assistants handled all the customer service inquiries and things like bringing in new speakers for the webinars each month. Now, this, of course, is going to bring new challenges of their own. Now you need to learn how to be a manager, you need to learn how to train others. But in my experience, these are the kind of problems that you have to trade up for if you want to turn your online coaching job into an actual online coaching business. And we can talk more on this, the difference between a job and a business, in the future. If you found this video useful, please let the algorithm know by liking and subscribing. If you have any questions on any aspect of this video, please feel free to leave me a comment below and I'll try and be as helpful as I can. Likewise, if there are any topics that you want me to share my experiences on, leave a comment or send me a message and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Thank you very much for watching that video. Daddy loves subscribers, so click here to subscribe. If you'd like to watch another video, you can do that by clicking here. See you soon.